Today's episode of Walford Weekly is dedicated to Leonard Fenton, who sadly died on Monday. Hello everyone and welcome to Walford Weekly, your weekly EastEnders podcast, where this week we'll be discussing the episodes released on the BBC in the UK from Monday the 31st of January to Friday the 4th of February 2022. I hope you are all well. I know someone who's not quite so well and we need to talk very quietly and gently. He's more hungover than Nadine Dorris after doing an interview the day before. Yes, here he is. It's Rob. Hello, Rob.
Hi everybody. Hello everyone. Right, so last night I went to what I thought was going to be a very civilised evening. Went and enjoyed a curry that had been homemade, a few glasses of wine with my aunties who were in their late 60s. There was 4 of us there. I thought they're in their late 60s. This will be. I might get a bit tipsy, but I'll be home for 10:30. No, we stopped drinking and I fell asleep. Well, I say fell asleep. I passed out on the sofa at 4:30 in the morning. Hence, we're recording this a little bit later than we normally would. Alex had to hang around a little bit while I got a taxi home and watched Friday's EastEnders. So yeah, sorry about that. However, great excitement. Regular viewers will remember that the calendar, the Dot Cotton calendar, is on the wall there, and this is now February, so it is time to change the dot. So, who have we got on February? There you go. We've got Sonia and Dot. Do you have any idea what's happening there? Any idea what's happening there? Dot appears to be having some form of breakdown. They're at a funeral. Is it Jim's funeral?
Might be Jim's funeral. Yes, we do need to describe this to the listeners of the podcast.
Yes.
Rob has a calendar behind him. If you watch this on YouTube, and obviously each month we need to change this. And as Rob quite rightly said, we've now changed it for February, and it's a picture of Sonia hugging Dot while they're both wearing dark clothing. So presumably it's Jim's funeral.
Yeah, although Dot appears to be falling on the floor. Yes, I think I've just broken the hook on that as well, so I'll put that back up later. But there we go. That's the February dot. So that went really, really well. There you go. That'll be back.
Oh, Rob, dear Rob, what predicament you put yourself into this morning, eh?
What has happened to me today? Oh, let's do this, because actually we've got I thought a relatively strong week of EastEnders to discuss this week. I thought it was a fairly good week. So let's, for the love of God, do this.
Okay, yes, fair enough. All right, then. Well, let's start off then with the new market inspector, which is Stacey. Getting wound up by all the market stall holders. One by one, they decided to annoy her one way or another. And ultimately, this caused a bit of a rift between Martin and Stacey as well. Is this the beginning of Martin and Stacey bonding, getting back together again? Or is this just their way of making up for time that they lost together?
Yeah, I mean, I think Stacey and Martin are sort of back on the cards again soon. They're sort of having conversations together and they're sort of sort of apologising for stuff that's gone in the past, forgiveness is going on. I have to say, I loved all this week, this whole thing with Stacey in the marketplace and what we eventually ended up with. Because Stacey very quickly realised that she was an appalling market inspector. Martin wasn't really helping. Nobody was really listening. We should mention as well that this storyline featured probably one of the biggest and most dialogue-filled scenes that Shrimpy has ever had. Shrimpy had loads to say this week, didn't he? In this scene, he was having an argument with somebody who was trying to nick his stock, knocked his hat off, which I thought was absolutely appalling. I wanted that guy dead more than I do Gray. Absolutely wrong to knock Shrimpy's hat off his head. Appalling. And then
it was a very Shrimpy laden week, wasn't it? Because he gets another mention at the end of the week as well, with something we'll discuss a little bit later on the show as well.
Yes. So Stacey eventually realises, right, do you know what? I can't do this. This is really bad. I'll ring Mr. Lister and organise a tour. Hope she thinks that Martin might get the job, but Martin does not get the job, which we should be discussing in a moment. And decides to go, right, I need to be back on the market then. Now, she decides to open, she gets nearly run over by a car that's carrying a sort of trailer thing behind her. Now, fair play to them. I didn't think this trailer was going to turn out to be relevant, but it did in the end, because we have now had the genesis of a brand new business opening on the square, Stacey's Baps. Stacey's Baps will be opening quite soon. I mean, like I say, I liked all this. It was scenes in the marketplace and sort of the banter between all the market workers that we haven't had on the show for a while. It feels like it's been a long time since we've had like some good market scenes with the characters. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. I quite like the idea of Stacey being back on the marketplace because she's going to open up this sort of burger van type thing, bacon baps and. She was saying later on the week that Eve was having to try lots of bacon. I don't know how many different types of bacon bap you could possibly do, but her idea basically is to sort of compete with. No, but it's to basically compete with Beals and sort of be the new place to go to when the market workers need their bacon in the morning. So I welcome Stacey's Baps. As I have done for always. But
I mean, I don't think
I look forward.
I don't think it's complete competition for Beals, though, was it? It's more competition with Kathy's, because that's what Stacey and Eve basically spent the whole week doing, just sitting in Kathy's, eating, as you say, different forms of bacon sandwich. One with brown sauce, one with red sauce, one with margarine, one without, one maybe with butter and a brown bread roll. You know, what? Never with mayo. Never with mayo, Rob.
I don't know what your issue is.
I don't know if we've ever had this discussion on screen.
Yes.
But Rob and I have discussed what you should have with a bacon sandwich. Obviously, before I stopped eating meat, I used to enjoy a bacon sandwich with the best of them. And I would have it with brown sauce. Rob wants it with mayonnaise. I like brown sauce.
There's nothing mad about that. It's bacon and egg, which are two staple things that go together. It's perfectly ordinary. There must be listeners and viewers out there who have mayo on a bacon sandwich. Please let me know. Please let me know, because everyone always looks at me really weirdly whenever I request mayonnaise with a bacon sandwich, and they're like, "What's wrong with you?" To me, it seems perfectly normal. But anyway, so are you looking forward to? Well. So are you looking forward to the more market scenes and Stacey being back on the market? So I like this. I loved this bit of the week.
Yeah. I mean, as you say, the market has been a bit thin on the ground. It's been a bit thin on the ground.
Yes.
As of recent. Understandably, I guess, because again with COVID, all you seem to see is Whitney's stall, and.
Yes.
That's it really nowadays, don't you? Oh, and Billy's stall. Billy's got the tat market, hasn't he? He's got his little tat stall.
Oh yes.
Martin, you never see very often, though, do you? Really, Martin, you don't really tend to see very often, because Martin kind of went dark, then kind of started dating Ruby, and now has just started being on the stall again after he had that little stint at the fish and chip shop where he sprayed Peter with the tomato ketchup or deep fat fried his iPad. That's right. So yeah, it was nice to see the market back and running again, because it feels like it's a bit of a gone era, the market. In general life, to be fair, and so that the fact that it keeps running on Albert Square feels a little bit strange to me. I know it's almost an icon of the show. Don't get me wrong; it's iconic as, say, the Queen Vic or Kathy's Calf. But I don't know, if you were to move on with the times, perhaps you would say, well, would there still be a market? Would people still be drawn to going to the Bridge Street Market and buying their tat from Billy or their fruit and veg from Martin? But they have, though, got a brand new market inspector, someone who we didn't even know had gone for an interview. Yes. Someone I don't think even the person who became the market inspector knew that they'd gone for an interview. And that is Honey Mitchell. How do you feel about Honey Mitchell being the market inspector?
It surprised me. My mouth sort of fell open when Janet brilliantly revealed that it was Honey. Sort of stepped out of the house fabulously and went, "It's Mummy!" So I like it. I think it's nice to sort of integrate Honey back into, the community, and she'll be close enough, I think, because Suki is not above sort of standing in the doorway of the Minute Mart and sort of yelling at people as they pass. So we might still get a bit of interplay between Suki and Honey while she's kind of around that general area. So yeah, no, I don't mind it. I don't know how she's going to get on, and it's going to be interesting to see the reactions of the market people when they realise who their new boss is.
Honey did boss a few people around, again, at the end of the week, with something we'll discuss later. But apart from that, I just found it a bit weird, because Honey's never really been someone who kind of is she seems to be the one who gets pushed about, rather than the one who, exactly. She has her moments, like throwing a bin at Adam or standing up to Suki. But, it felt a bit strange, but, I'm excited to see it. And I'm excited, as you say, to see how Billy reacts to it too. Could indeed. Funny you should mention Suki actually this week, because there was a little story between Suki and Eve this week that I would like to kind of open up with you, where they had a bit of a chat in the police van. This was when Jack was being a bit of a tyrant during the street party in outside the Albert, and Suki and Eve got put into the van to cool down a little bit. But they had a really good conversation. A scene which, because they've gone back to their 30-minute episodes, they can bring back again. These well-written, character-led scenes where two people can have a conversation. It can be about 10 minutes long, and you learn and they develop. And it was really great to see. And it feels as though there might be something on the cards between Suki and Eve.
Yeah, it looks like it. What do you think of them? Interesting couple? I think I think Eve is a good person to sort of bring out Suki's inner. It feels a little bit like, the sort of Ben and Callum type dynamic where, Eve is sort of on the scene, quite happy with who she is, and then she'll bring out sort of Suki's inner lesbian. She could become a baby lesbian, if that's a thing. But no, the scene where baby lesbianette. I loved the stuff with Suki and Eve in the van. I thought it was great. It gave us a real insight into sort of Suki's mindset, how and Eve got a little bit talked about Ash, and they started arguing about Ash basically, and kind of Suki pushed her at one point, which was enough for the police of Walford to go, right, back in the van, you two, as though that that's the worst thing you could possibly do. But yeah, no, I absolutely loved it. So, what do you reckon, Suki and Eve? What would that be? Sieve?
Yeah, I see it actually. It's weird because there's always Eve's almost like the flag bearer, isn't she? For the gay culture, being upfront, being brave about her sexuality, and I never thought about it before until you said it. But yes, it's very similar to Ben and Callum. So in a way, it'd be fantastic that they kind of introduce a lesbian couple in the show who could possibly be a main line character as well, or duo couple, which would be nice, other than kind of the gay storylines kind of mainly being directed toward Ben and Callum. And B, it'd be nice to see this kind of journey with Suki, because she's fought it much harder than what Callum did. Callum kind of had a few kind of moments, but Suki's really fought it and said like, nope, I'm definitely not. It's just a a moment in my life where I've occasionally felt that way. So yeah, I am excited to see Suki and Eve. And I like the fact that Eve's being very upfront with Stacey about it as well. So Stacey's in on it. So it's kind of like they could, it could pass on down to Kheerat later on. So Suki, because Stacey and Kheerat are very close too. And especially when she starts opening her baps and she starts, becoming more intertwined with the stories that are happening on the square, because clearly that's why they've put Stacey in that kind of role. They've kind of made her open up more. Yeah. So yeah, I am excited about it. Do you think that there is trouble ahead for Suki in the realms of maybe Daddy Panasar coming in?
Yeah, because he got another mention this week, didn't he, when he was talking about husband being inside. And so I think it might be Eve that sort of brings out the secret that we have been wanting to know for so long now about the Panasars. It might be Eve that sort of is enough to sort of coax that out of her. Thought it was going to be honey, wasn't honey, that didn't work. So, but I mean, the thing is, I like Eve a lot as a character. I think she really works. She's fitted in, she's slotted in really well onto the square. I love her relationship with Stacey. And yeah, the Suki and Eve thing, I am excited to see where it goes. And it's going to be nice for Suki. Again, it gives us the opportunity to be seeing another side of Suki soon. So yeah, bring it on. I'm looking forward to the reign of the sieve. I look forward to it immensely. So there we go.
Fantastic. So again, we mentioned them earlier, which is Ben and Callum. Callum gave Ben an ultimatum this week, like all adult relationships do, and that is, you turn up to the street party outside the Albert or else I'm going to divorce you. Ben is still suffering from the aftermath of the attack, feeling like he can't be himself, feeling like he shouldn't be open anymore in public. He's been found out about giving Stuart the money to run away and get the taxi, so Rainie's not particularly very keen on Ben either and wants him out of the house. I mean, Ben's got himself in a lot of trouble, hasn't he, through his well, let's be honest, his PTSD. Do you think Ben is slowly crawling out of it? Because he did eventually meet up with Callum. Late, but he did, and stood up for him in front of Jack, the police officer.
And then did the whole kind of kissing in public thing. I want to talk about Jack, the police officer, for a moment. I mean, I don't know why Jack from CID was called to deal with a noise complaint. He was kind of standing there and sort of did it. I mean, where was Jack? Where has Jack been when the parties in London have been going on? We could have done with a Jack, couldn't we? That's how you do it. That's how you stop a party. You stand in the street and be a sanctimonious arse and refuse to move until the party ceases. I don't understand quite like how. I mean, the whole party thing was. I mean, it was fun. It was about sort of like we're here, deal with it sort of party that Callum organised. I mean, he's growing, isn't he? As a baby gay, he's slowly turning into an adolescent gay.
He really is.
It's heartening to see.
I know.
It's heartening to see.
A teenage gay.
Yeah, a dangerous thing. So yeah, Ben and Callum, I think Ben's slowly sorting himself out. I feel that kiss in the street was supposed to be a sort of step forward for him. Although by the end of the episode, I think Ben still had a sort of look of trepidation on his face. So I don't think we're quite out of the woods with Ben yet. Ben's main concern this week was mixed in with the Stuart and Rainie storyline, because obviously Ben was responsible for Stuart running away. We learned that Stuart has gone to a retreat because he left Rainie a voicemail, or one of those voice note things that the show likes doing every now and again. As opposed to just a phone call, Stuart just recorded a message and sent it to her, which was lovely. And told Rainie, because like you say, Rainie was all ready to kind of chuck Ben out on the street. Understandably, I think. I think even Ben is sort of like, yeah, I kind of get it. I'll go. That's fine. But by the end of the week, Stuart has said, kind of given Rainie the task of looking after Stuart and looking after Ben and Callum, which I think Rainie was thrilled about. He was like, oh God, do I have to? And said that Ben could stay, but clearly isn't happy about Ben being there. So they've got a lot of work to do, I think, with their relationship. So I quite like Ben in the sort of highway kind of household. I think he kind of works there. Rainie is one of these characters that is very easy to work with and sort of malleable to kind of put with any kind of character. And it's always nice to kind of see her. So I quite like this sort of interplay between her and Ben. That might be quite interesting going forward because they've got a lot of work to do on their relationship. Callum's kind of going to stand there awkwardly in the background while those two snipe at each other. So yeah, Stuart's at a retreat now. So how long do you think it will be before we see Stuart again? How long is he going to be retreating?
Well, I mean, hopefully it's sooner than later because obviously he needs the operation for his breast cancer and he needs the treatment to follow it up as well. He said, didn't he, also this week that it's not the actual operation or the treatment he's worried about anymore. He said something else, didn't he? Because at first he said it was the drugs and he was afraid of the dependency that he might get on them. But didn't he say this week he was now afraid of something else? I forget what he said exactly.
I can't remember, but he's basically said that the people that are in charge of this retreat are saying things that make sense to him. So he's fully behind this whole sort of. It's almost like a what's the word? Holistic. What's the word I'm looking for? You know what I mean, don't you? Like a sort of retreat type of thing.
Yeah.
Where it's all natural. So he seems to be quite behind that. I feel like the show is sort of giving the impression that it's a swindle, that almost like that whole side of life is a scam. You know, it's not really painting that side of things in a great light, which I think is basically them, giving the message, go to the NHS, have an operation, which, I guess makes perfect sense. Yes. But I don't know a lot about these sort of retreat places, so I don't know. It's not like it's not like, psychics or whatever, where you can solely have an opinion. Yeah, that's rubbish, or I believe in them. So I don't know a huge amount about it. But I am liking this. I think he's told Rainie not to look for him, so God knows. Clearly the actor's on having a couple of weeks off or something. So which will kind of leave us with the yes, maybe. I think Ricky Champ does do panto, doesn't he? Kind of taking Steve McFadden's place as the bald guy that gets called to do Captain Hook. So yeah, no, but I'm looking forward. I did enjoy that their relationship this week. So, what do you think of the gay party then? Were you kind of watching it with sort of wiping your eyes with your rainbow hanky, or did it feel to you as though it was kind of like a little bit sort of? For me, I kind of felt the thing is about it when they do episodes like that. And they've done them quite a bit recently. I feel like this episode kind of tried to do exactly the same thing as the episode that we had last week, where, they were talking about, gays are not going anywhere, which it's a right message to say. But do you feel like in some ways it's the people that they're telling that message to, we know it already. And the people and I don't know anybody that's going to be, I can't imagine anybody who is kind of bigoted is going to watch an episode of EastEnders and go, oh, well, that's changed my mind. You're right, actually. Or I'm going to throw all my kind of bigoted dinosaur opinions out the window because EastEnders told me to. So, it's a bit like, when you kind of, for us, it's kind of like it's like being sat in a class being taught our 2 times table, and you're kind of sat there like, yes, I know the 2 times table. Yeah, I get that. Do you know what I mean? How did you feel about it?
Yeah, but we'd probably be more accepting to allow them to teach us rather than people who would be bigoted to watch the show and just be like looking at it being like, this is sick, this is nonsense, they shouldn't be doing this. No, I mean, we mustn't forget it's LGBT plus History Month this month in February, so it made good sense for them to do this.
Fair play, yes.
I don't think they're trying to convert the people who perhaps will never change their opinion. I think hopefully it's more people who are looking at it and thinking, you know what, it's okay to be gay. It's fine to be gay. And I think that was Callum's incentive also to draw Ben in as well. So kind of the story kind of reflected what they were trying to show in life as well. That, Ben, come to the party. It's okay to be gay. We all have our fears. We all have, problems. But just come along and see how the community are behind us. Because the community were behind them. Sonia was there. It was lovely to see Sonia. I really wanted Sonia to hook up as well. Yes. It was lovely to see Sonia there.
Well, we sort of referred to Sonia as bisexual this week, which was nice.
Yeah, and it was nice to see that. But a lot of them, Kim was there as well. Tina was there in spirit. Wink, more on that later. Big Mo should have been there because she was really good fun. She was really good fun when they last did Pride. She really was. So yeah, it was, I didn't mind. I mean, it was, I think the premise of it was just to kind of like bring Callum and Ben together and to have that one scene of Ben. To have that one scene of Ben to kind of like be kind of like looking away and kind of still looking a bit upset about it, but had kissed Callum, so perhaps it's okay.
I feel like I'm probably coming across as more negative about it than I actually was. I'm not saying that the scenes were a bad idea or that it was done badly or anything like that. I just wondered kind of how that would be taken. I mean, the social media seemed to like it, but then there were still people that kind of using the famous what a woke episode. Which if you piss those people off, you've done a good job. So that I have no issue with it whatsoever. There you go. It's like annoying the Daily Mail. If you've done that, then you've done a good job.
We'll be talking more about this subject after these messages.
Support for Walford Weekly is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped recently launched the Ultimate Men's Hygiene Bundle, the Performance Package. Join over 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code WALFORD at manscaped.com. If my maths is correct, that's about 8 million balls.
Well, Rob, we are honoured to have such lovely equipment sent to us to talk about from Manscaped. And I understand that you haven't had the honour of playing with some of this stuff. So you're going to do it live right now in front of us.
I haven't used. Obviously, I've used the trimmer, and we've been sent lots of downstairs deodorant and lots of downstairs toner and all that sort of thing. Thank you very much, Manscaped, for this. Honestly, this is great stuff. It smells really nice. It's really high quality stuff as well, actually. But what I haven't used yet is this torture device looking thing here, which is actually an ear and nose hair trimmer. Now, like I said, I've never used this before. It's just going to hurt.
No, honestly, it's absolutely gentle and it's good on the skin and it's waterproof as well. So you can use it in the shower or if you don't want to, you can do it out the shower and you get given this like little newspaper mat as well. So all your hair can drop down and it can be cleaned up very easily just by crunching up the newspaper and throwing it into the bin.
I mean, how much hair do you think I've got in my ears? Right, hang on then.
Stick it in your ear, go on. We all want to see.
Okay.
Ooh.
Do you know what? I can feel that working, and cannot feel a thing. That doesn't hurt at all. So, yeah, that's good. That's really, really good.
Yeah. It's just as sensitive as well, using the one that goes down below. But you don't have to use it just down below either, because I used it to neaten up my beard a little bit as well. And thank you to someone who commented saying that I should use it on my chest.
You've got the bare things that you can use to do your beard and stuff. And your beard looks lovely, but you've also got these add-ons as well that you can use to do it at different lengths and make yourself look amazing in whatever style you like. So yeah, thank you very much to Manscaped for sending us these free products.
So to get 20% off and free shipping with the code Walford at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use the code Walford. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. Hello and welcome back. Now we're going to talk about Mia and Keoni, and this was meant to be their party, wasn't it, really? Their leaving party, which Kathy said she couldn't organise, but then Callum had inadvertently organised for them. How disappointed are you with all these exits they've had recently? Mia and Keoni, Ikra,
yeah, I know.
Ashes. They've all just been so bad.
I know. Well, Ash is back. Ash will be coming back. We understand. So that's okay. You know, because I think Ash is just on a break at the moment because Ash has got stuff to return to now. Ash has genuinely got a storyline ready and waiting for her with the whole Suki and Eve thing. That's all bubbling away. Guarantee we're gonna have an affair at some point. That's gonna happen. A good old sort of mother sleeping with her, and then kind of yes, and then sort of.
Well, I wonder if that's what's gonna happen. Yeah, if Ash and Eve get together, and then Eve ends up sleeping with Suki while they're together, a bit like with Peter. That'd be fun.
Yes, that'd be interesting, wouldn't it? Yes, but Mila and Keoni. I mean, I thought it was. Honestly, like this big old party's going on, and Mila's kind of says, "Oh, is this my leaving party?" Kathy's like, "You're leaving." No, this isn't your leaving party. Come and have a drink, but no, it's not your leaving party. But then that's them gone now. They didn't even get the shot that we got of Ikra, where she was kind of contemplatively walking through the square, and the way that they filmed it was like, well, that's Ikra's last shot. That's quite obvious. We didn't even get that. Frankly, I'm surprised that I was surprised to see them this week when whenever they turned up last week. I was like, oh, they are still there then. We are going to get some form of exit. We didn't really. But, that's them gone now. It's a great shame. I will miss the potential that Ikra and Mila and Keoni had. I thought there was lots of potential for storyline there. We've said it before. Everything happened off screen. Quite wrong. Shouldn't have happened that way. Great shame and a disservice to the actors to dream what could have been. Unfortunately, so bye Mila, bye Keoni. I looked on Keoni's little page online, I think like EastEnders wiki type page, just out of interest to sort of learn about how many appearances that she'd actually had. She joined last year. There's many episodes in a year. She's had just under 20 appearances. That's ridiculous. Like the poor, that's so few episodes. Like imagine being the kid. Oh my god, I'm going to be a star. I'm going to be in EastEnders. No, 20 episodes. That's your lot, love. Good luck. Good luck with the future. Off you go. So yeah, shame. Great shame.
I mean, it looks good on the CV, doesn't it? So I suppose that's good for them. But you said, actually, it's an interesting point I just want to pull up on. You said it was a disservice to the actors. Don't you think it was also a disservice to the community who they had a story based on them, which was the female genital mutilation storyline, and where they could have gone so much further with it, and they literally just used it for a week's worth of new content. Yeah. It just felt really bad.
Yeah, because we were really excited by it, weren't we? And I remember saying the exact words, well, this will be a good story because they can't do a disservice to this storyline. Turns out they can. They can do that. Because I remember the great scenes that we had between Ikra and Mila when that was all first coming out. That great scene where they were sat on the restaurant floor in the kitchen and Mila was telling was explaining to Ikra about everything. Nah, it's just a shame. All off screen. So there you go. Sorry, Mila. Sorry, Ikra. Bye.
Yeah, maybe one day they can come back. A little bit of trouble for Tommy this week, we saw, where basically Kat and Phil have now openly acknowledged to the family that they've broken up. Bert and Ernie and Tommy had a little house meeting with Phil and Kat on in Kat's living room. And Tommy thought that he could get away with kind of like showing off in front of Scarlet to the bullies of the school, but now he has. He is now feels like he's in a lot of trouble and he's going to be bullied when he goes back to Walford High or whatever school he's now going to. He kind of used the emphasis on the fact that Phil is practically his dad now, and so he can use Phil Mitchell as kind of like his trump card to getting them out of trouble. I don't know what he thought that Phil Mitchell would do, like go to the school and like just beat up a group of children.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think that might have been what he was assuming was going to happen. Don't bully me because I'll get my dad, right. I'll get my stepdad to beat you up. But yeah, so Tommy is now. I wonder if this is now going into a bit of a bullying storyline. Apparently my stepdad's bigger than you. That was Tommy's message to these kids. So yeah, there you go. I wonder if this is now heading in a bit of a bullying storyline direction for Tommy. Because he's now doing the classic thing where I'm not going to go to school today, I'm ill. So, and it seems that he does that quite a bit this week. I think he skips at least 2 days off school. So I wonder if that's going to slowly start coming to the forefront. Whether we're going to maybe go to the school and see kind of him and Scarlet in class together. That might be quite interesting to see. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
I'd like to see that.
Yeah.
I definitely would like to see more of that, because we said last week that it's nice to see the kids have the stories together, and they're the new generation, so we should be following them as well. Kat seems to be blind to it though, because Kat, I think, thinks that Tommy is upset because there was some kind of stable family environment between her being with Phil, and now he's lost that. But it's actually more, as you say, there's more to it for Tommy. Tommy felt like he was safer with these. It sounds like he's been bullied by these kids before as well, and now thinking that Phil Mitchell was on his side, he was able to kind of like get away with, kind of just ignoring them or kind of moving away from them. I worry also that with this kind of path that Tommy is turning into like the new Denny, because Phil also said this week, like, you're the new man of the house, and that's a really dangerous thing to say to a small child, but it's no different to what he used to do with Denny. Like, he would kind of emphasize to Denny that he needs to be man up and be better, and with Ben, hence perhaps why Ben's in this situation he's in right now, because he's kind of confused and conflicted by his feelings, by what his dad tells him and what Callum, a much softer person and the man he loves, is telling him. So, yeah, Phil is clearly not very good at this fatherly role, and is now doing it for the third time with Tommy, which I'm really worried about.
At least he's consistent. I mean, that has always been one of the kind of most fascinating. The Ben and Phil relationship, to me, has always been one of EastEnders' like best ever sort of long-term relationship storylines, and it kind of feels like within this era, it's kind of petered out a little bit, because Ben's thing was always trying to make Phil proud of him and trying to sort of be Phil in a lot of ways, show his dad that he's capable. I suppose we still have got that in some respects when Phil's trying to give him all these businesses and Ben's like, no, I can do it, but Phil doesn't believe that he can. So that is still there, I guess. But yeah, Tommy is. The thing is, because they've recast Tommy for a reason, didn't they? And clearly, it's not to lose a leg. That hasn't happened, thank God. So, he's a good little. Yeah, exactly. And he's a good little actor as well. So I think he'd be more than capable of pulling off quite a heartfelt sort of emotional storyline. Because we haven't had a bullying storyline for a while. I think the last thing we had was the Louise and Bex thing, when Louise got pushed over on some candles, didn't we?
Oh, no, that was Bex. Bex. They were bullying Bex, remember? And Louise wouldn't support her.
That's right.
And that wonderful concert where she was locked in the locker and everyone was going, bring back Bex, bring back Bex. Oh my goodness. That's what a time to be alive that was. Goodness.
Sean O'Connor era, yes. What a time that was. And never going to forgive that man for anything. So I wouldn't mind seeing, because those sorts of storylines tend to get reserved for. I know Tommy is sort of going into adolescence now, but he's still kind of a kid as well, rather than kind of Bex and Louise who are older. So it'd be interesting to sort of see bullying from a younger kid's perspective. So we'll see.
And it's really relatable. Again, we've talked about this before. They need to bring in a younger audience. Could this be one story that could kind of draw in maybe a few younger people to see how this develops? So, Gray's got a little secret, apparently. And this secret has been buried under the argy-bargy for... Well, I say months. It's not been months. It's been years.
Way over a year.
Yeah, this week we discovered because that Gray had Tina is dead. There's no way around it anymore. Unless he got a skeleton from a joke shop and put it in Tina's coat.
Dressed it in Tina's
so
coat.
Just one hand is poking out. Then there's no other way to say that it had to be that Tina has died. Shirley has spent the whole week trying to find Tina, thinking that, Tina loves a good gay romp. So let's go to all the gay nightclubs this week with
that's
Zack.
That's the only place she'll go to as well. The only place that we will find Tina, right? The gay bars. That's where she'll be. That's where she always is. It's the only place they looked. Funny that she wasn't in any of them when she's trying to hide. But there you go. Are you surprised that Tina is now actually dead? Did you, or because I kind of felt that there was a hope, a sort of glimmer in the sideline, because we knew so little about Tina's sort of where she was and kind of what Gray had done with her. That it felt that she was going to. I remember us talking even as late as Christmas Day just gone. We were maybe Tina will walk into the Vic on Christmas Day. Maybe she'll turn up at the wedding on Christmas Day. But she's actually dead. Are you surprised?
I am. I'll be honest, I am. I was adamant that I thought Tina... I was still sure. I knew as soon as they cut to the image of the argy-bargy and the camera started panning to the door and then kind of, a bit like Rosebud, Citizen Kane, where he kind of walked through the door and then he kind of then went down into the floorboards. I was adamant. I thought, maybe Tina is alive and she's just under there going, a la Denise, a few years back with Lucas. But no, sadly, like I said, I have to say that skeleton was incredibly clean. It did look like something from you get from
yeah. There was a local rat sort of keeping company there, wasn't there? So clearly the rat had done its thing. It was very clean. It was
they were very fat. Yeah, they were very fat rats because they were obviously clearly eating poor old Tina out without sounding too rude. So we finally got the reveal then that Gray has murdered, because there was so many looks this week. Every time it kept getting mentioned, and for Gray to make that reaction, it had to be Gray, so it had to be Tina underneath the argy-bargy. Yeah. So they're investigating. So it's only a matter of time, it feels, for them to discover her. Do you think Shirley's going to finally put the pieces together then? Is this the final demise? We've gone through so many theories that Gray's going to be found out through the doorbell, through the online forums, through a confession to Kheerat in the hospital. Do you think finally, when Shirley finds out that Tina has died,
surely to God,
hopefully they can do a DNA test on him, Shirley's like, but hang on, if she's been dead for a year and Gray's been telling me she's been alive and he's been seeing her here and the other, maybe Gray's got something to do with it.
Yes.
Finally, are we going to get the end of this
godforsaken storyline? Yes. I think it might be. I think the ending approaches. The thing is with this whole argy-bargy thing though, I felt like everything that's been going on with the argy-bargy, because it's not like the argy-bargy hasn't been mentioned quite a lot over the past year. You had sort of Bobby, they were reopening it as a mask at the whole right-wing storyline, and you noticed a look that Gray gave at one point when the argy-bargy was mentioned. And I didn't even spot it. So it's not like we've had sort of clues that that's where Tina is, and that, even when sort of they were talking about reopening the mask, we've never had a moment of Gray maybe even trying to sabotage that, or even looking worried that was going on. So, yeah, it's very, it feels like one of those sort of, right, yeah, let's do that now then. Which has been sort of the key thing for this storyline all the way through, really, hasn't it? We should also discuss the explosion. And the fact that the argy-bargy, God willing, will blow up somewhere. Now, I say it now.
At some point, it's going to blow up.
It's whether you like it or not, it will blow up. See, now we had good old theories, didn't we, about sort of almost conspiracy theories about what exactly went on behind the scenes at New Year's Eve with the right wing plot. We felt that it was very much supposed to blow up. And that it got changed. And so I have to say, I feel like they should almost be given a sort of a pass with this, because clearly they needed the explosion to happen. Because Tina needed to be discovered. No, I just feel like, I felt like, it feels like the New Year's Eve stuff went so far into this explosion is happening. And it feels like they had it all planned. They had it all ready to go. Joe from Props has got his hand on the plunger. It's his birthday. He's been told that he can blow up the argy-bargy. We've got a big old thing coming. And then it feels like somebody higher up like someone called Sue or something, I feel, like who sits in the BBC office all day. Let me say now, BBC. I don't know if there is anybody in the BBC office who's called Sue. All fictional characters in my mind, trust me. Who kind of went, no, you can't do that for this, and this reasons. Maybe, because Ikra probably was supposed to be killed off in the explosion. Maybe they were uncomfortable with the idea of a Muslim being killed in a right-wing attack. Who knows? We may never know. But this explosion clearly needed to happen to kind of progress a few plots. And it feels like it could have actually worked out quite well. It could have been quite an exciting little kind of chunk of episodes. We could have lost Ikra or Mila possibly in the explosion. And then Tina's body would have been discovered. It sounds like they had all of that sort of ready to go and planned out. And then they were told that they couldn't do it. So it was like, gas explosion then, I guess, which we didn't even see. So I feel
no, you just heard it off screen.
Yeah, no, everyone to go.
I know, just reaction shots from everyone. I loved that. That was perfect.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah. So I kind of feel a bit bad for them in that case. I think they had something much more exciting up their sleeve that they kind of got taken away from them. But maybe the more cynical viewers may have a different viewpoint on that.
I mean, I don't think I'm being cynical for saying that. I don't think they should get a pass for that, because I think that they either do it or they don't. And to do then this really silly story where they kind of went, boom, what was that? Oh, it came from the Argy-Margy.
I know, but that's what I mean though. Just by its pure naffness, I kind of felt like it was, I guess we're going to have to do this then. Do you know what I mean? That's why, because it was so naff. Yeah.
It felt like it was almost the cherry on the John Sen cake for me. It was almost like the perfect ending for the era. That's the last thing they're gonna do. But I
know. But
I mean, maybe I'm being unfair. I'm sorry, but I just wish they had. I wish they had gone through with the actual story. They didn't necessarily have to do it on New Year's Eve necessarily. They could have done it later on. But I just wish they had. I wish they had done it. I don't think there would have been a problem with it necessarily. I think there's more of a problem with the fact that they didn't do it. They felt like they kind of stepped away from it.
Yeah.
When the end did this.
This is what I mean though. This is why I feel a little bit sorry for them, because like I say, it's listed out like that. We would have had better exits for Ikra and Mila. Maybe that's another reason why they've been given such rubbish exits, because they were planning something entirely different.
Oh God, without doubt. That's why.
Yeah. So make that their exit, and then also throw in the fact that and Tina's here as well. It could have been quite good, and it could have been quite shocking. And I feel like that's the way it was definitely going to go. And then, for plot purposes, they needed the explosion, and maybe even for new set purposes, they needed an explosion as well. Just for logistics, and that's why that building is now blue.
Yes.
That sort of thing. So yeah, I feel like I'm sort of laugh at them on points, but I also kind of get it. So maybe I'm just being overly nice about it. But let us know what you think in the comment section below.
Yes, absolutely. Or get in touch with us on our social media. All the details at the end of the show will be announced by Rob. One last story then before we go into I Don't Want to Gossip, where we'll be talking about some big news that happened, again, just after we finished recording last week. But we have one more story from The Square.
They do it deliberately, I swear.
I think they do. We've got the Monroes then, and it's gotten out through Peter and through Bobby. Bobby kind of confessed it to Kathy that the Monroes have a right-wing son, Aaron, and that he almost blew up the Square, but before the gas leak happened, and that the family covered it up for him as well, so that they've kind of kept it quiet. So that's led to Harvey deciding that he's going to leave the Square, but that's not before Kathy had a few scenes where she kind of announced it in front of everyone at the Walford East restaurant, and then Jean had that great big Barney with Harvey as well at
went in.
Queen Vic. One thing, she did go mad at him. One thing though, do you think that it was a bit of a missed opportunity where they could have had more characters that were known listening in on this, so it could have been spread round quicker rather than just having incidental characters or extras basically being announced to when they were at the Walford East or at the Vic? Because in the olden days, they would have had the Vic full of pretty much the whole cast there for this big announcement. For them to stand up there and say, you don't know, the Monroes, they're a right-wing family. And the duff would have been the reaction of everyone in the square. Pauline kind of looking at Mark kind of looking a bit grumpy. It missed that for me. It was great. And I loved the Jean scene, as you say, but that was missed for me. I felt like there was there was an opportunity there, which was missed, where they could have done it with the whole cast, that big announcement. But despite that, what else? What did you think?
I enjoyed it. I mean, I've not been quiet in saying that I absolutely love the Monroes and I love their story. I love this story. I'm pleased that Harvey's staying because I thought we were losing the Monroes as well. I was genuinely convinced that they were going, which is nice. We saw Aaron again this week as well. Which it feels like maybe those were Aaron's last scenes. Do you think he's ever going to be back? Because he's in prison now, isn't he? Presumably he's got a trial still to come.
But I always thought he would return.
Yeah, do you? I don't know, because I think his story doesn't feel like it's over. I'm very interested to sort of see how they would deal with Aaron, kind of, maybe he ultimately gets away with it, who knows, but I loved stuff with him and Harvey in the prison. I thought that was really strong. And we should talk about the proposal as well, because turns out that Dana isn't pregnant, or is she? Is Dana pregnant? Or did she kind of just say, oh no, I'm not, to Harvey, because she wasn't quite sure how to deal with it?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't she have a test, and that's how Harvey found out, and then the test said negative? But that doesn't necessarily mean she's not pregnant.
She said the test said negative.
Ah, that's right. That's true. She said the test. No, I think she's pregnant. I think for the story to progress, she needs to be pregnant. I think so. And also with your theory last week, which is heartbreaking, but I every day believe is more and more likely to happen. She's pregnant. For me, she's pregnant, and she must have lied to her dad just to kind of save Bobby's skin, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. But I mean, because Bobby proposed as soon as he found out that she was pregnant, and Dana, I think, was genuinely about to say yes as well. I think she looked delighted when Bobby kind of went down on one knee and presented a £200 ring to her. She was quite thrilled with that. Bless her. I do like the two of them together. But then Kathy kind of had a moment in telling everybody what kind of family they are, and that sort of ruined the moment between them. But we've got some more stuff to come with them, I think. I don't know if she's pregnant or not. I was unsure, but she might be. To be fair, the theory I came out with last week, don't pin anything on that, because I've been harping on for the past year that Tina was still alive. So my theories mean absolutely nothing in the grand scheme of things. Well, yeah, we have. So we don't know anything. We know nothing.
Yeah, so, I don't know, Rob.
It makes sense though.
I think you're right in the fact that I think that they liked characters that are loved. They can never be happy, and I don't think Bobby will ever be destined to be happy. And so I think Dana's not long on this earth. I hate that I agree with you, because I don't want to, but I think that reasonably sounds like the way they're going to go. And plus, whenever there's a new baby on the square, they can never have a mum and a dad. There's always got to be some way that they're going to be split up somehow. So you've got to mess the kid up somehow from birth, haven't you? So yeah. This kid will not be with his mother. Who knows? It wouldn't be fair. No, and having Peter as an uncle is going to be bad enough. So. Oh, it'd be terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. There was some real tension between Mitch as well, Mitch and Harvey this week, because Mitch kind of forgave Harvey until he found out that he had also covered up for Keegan's beating, or being beat up outside the Vic by the right-wing group. And as soon as Mitch heard that, Harvey's basically friendship with Mitch kind of was ruined immediately. I mean... Yeah. Harvey's decided to stay, but do you think there's much for him to stay for, other than maybe for Dana?
Well, this is the thing. I think the point is that Harvey is saying, right, actually, I need to prove to people that I'm not like this. It's I really like these it feels like they go so in depth. The best thing about this era, I think, have been their own characters that they brought in, because, the Monroes, again, like the Panasars, have got a fascinating backstory that I want to know more about. And I love that moment when Harvey was walking through the square and saw the racist graffiti on the wall, and there was a moment where he's sort of looking at it, and you can sort of there was a time that almost kind of like there is a bit of me that agrees with that. But the right thing for me to do here is to start cleaning this up and try and prove to the square that I'm not like my son. So yeah, I really liked that, and I liked Jean kind of getting involved, and Jean, I think, is going to be sort of Harvey's only ally at the moment. I think Dana as well has got is going to have as many problems with it as Harvey is. So I'm looking forward to sort of seeing Harvey. The story now for them is to sort of prove to the square that they're not bad people.
Yeah, a lot to look forward to with the Monroes. Sorry, I'm still reveling. These things you keep coming out with about the Monroes. Aaron not coming back, Dana dying when she has the baby for me. Like, I'm reveling by what you're saying.
She's reminded me of Danielle since the day that she arrived. And I am convinced that what we are heading from that moment where Bobby is cradling her dead body in the square.
Okay. So if you're in a betting shop right now, you slap £10 down on the counter and you had to make a prediction for if Dana was to die, who would be at the hands of her death? Who do you think it would be?
Neil. Nanny boy Neil.
Yeah. Nanny boy Neil, yeah.
Nanny boy Neil, because he's a psycho.
Ooh, okay, so lots more to come. Anyway, so that was the week roundup of Walford. We're now going to discuss another big news story that came out last week on I Ain't Want to Gossip.
You know me, I ain't want to gossip.
So, when we finished recording last week, a news article came out. I think it was the Daily Mirror that first released the article. And then it got basically spread like wildfire, and all the red tops and also the Metro and lots of newspapers and mainline news released the information that Sam Mitchell is returning to the square, but not played by Daniela Westbrook, which in my opinion is fine. It's being played by Kim Metcalf. Metcalf was the one who took the second reincarnation, famously had the storyline with Zoe, Chrissy, and they murdered, or collectively, Chrissy had murdered Dirty Den, the Witches of Walford. Yes, we love that story here at Walford Weekly. And so I am very excited. Honestly, personally, let's be honest, it was the right choice to bring back Kim rather than Daniela. Daniela's fine, but I think that would be a very risky move, especially for a character that they obviously have potentially going to have big storylines coming forward. But when you heard the news, Rob, what did you think?
I'm very excited. I think it was right and proper that Daniela Westbrook was brought back for Peggy's funeral, because that was sort of the original Mitchells coming together. And I think it was right that she was brought back for that. For a longer stint, however, I think this is the better option. And I'm very excited about it, actually, because I've been feeling for a while that the Mitchells have, since the deaths of the sisters, I feel like the Mitchells have sort of splintered off and aren't really the unit that they once were. So I think bringing Sam back, hopefully it'll add to that and give them be a bit of a glue for the Mitchells again. But I'm very excited, and her return gives quite a few characters storyline potential. Jack and Denise for a start. That'll give them some actual stories. Jack might actually be on screen for more than 2 seconds and holding up his ID badge, because obviously Sam and Jack have that whole history. The last time that we saw Sam was when she kind of left. And a child. Well, this is the thing. We might actually see Ricky Butcher again, because as in little mini Ricky, because obviously the last time we saw Sam, she left Ricky with Jack. So we've got that to come. Sharon obviously has never really gotten on with Sam all that well, so that's to come. And then obviously the Mitchells, Phil. Do you think, I've seen a theory, and I think actually there might be some credence to this. Sam and the Vic? Do you think? Could we be talking about the new landlady maybe?
Yeah, no, I've seen that theory too, and I'm 100% behind it. I'm very excited about that, actually. And I wonder if they're going to do it in a similar style of when Sharon returned and said, "Hello, Peggy. Didn't think you'd see me again, did you?" But this time it would be Sam behind the bar with Sharon on the opposite side. But that would kind of work better if Sharon had still owned the Vic. So I suppose maybe not such a powerful scene. But yeah, no, I love that. But then does that mean then Sam will bring other people along with her? Maybe a new partner? Nice. Maybe a new child? Maybe a new dog? Maybe we can have a new dog in the Vic, kind of putting up the bar.
Absolutely fine.
Don't you... I feel like that the BBC are keeping information away from us. I don't think it would work just to bring back Sam, but I do think it would work to bring back Sam plus family. And with that, I think then that'd be a new family, a bit like when they brought in Mick and Linda, that could then be a whole new story for the Vic. So yes, I'm very much on board. What do you think about the potential of Chrissy returning, or even Zoe returning and shaking things up about with Sam?
Chrissy, I feel like her story was basically done. Don't get me wrong, I would love to see Chrissy again. I feel like the way I feel about Chrissy is similar to how I felt about Mel when she was announced as returning. It's kind of like, oh, okay, fair enough. Why? Or even Ruby to an extent as well. It kind of felt that they'd done their bit.
I was going to say
Zoe
Ruby.
on the other hand, I feel has got potential to be back because Kat still mentions her. Obviously, their relationship isn't great, so there's Slater stuff to be done with Zoe. Wouldn't hate a recast, to be honest, for Zoe. You know, it's not like, let's be fair. Zoe's biggest moment was "You Ain't My Mother," and obviously the Den stuff as well. So I think a recast there would be okay if Michelle Ryan doesn't want to come back. Obviously, I'd like original Zoe to come back, but if not, then that would be okay. It's not like recasting Michelle, for example, is it?
One thing I would say is that they had planned to bring Sam back during Sen and Oates' era. You know, apparently it was way back in August they started discussing it and kind of talking to the actress and bringing her back. So obviously they're the ones who we should, cheer for, actually bringing it back. However, I am incredibly pleased to know that it's Chris Clenshaw's era that will be handling it.
Cledders?
I think that he will handle it with Cledders. I think they'll be handling it with a lot more care and a lot more passion, knowing what we know, that he has a real dedication to the show. And I've said it before, John Sen was never particularly someone who watched the show, so kind of for him it was just a job. While with Chris Clenshaw, for me, I think that this is more of a passion, and I think that he will look after Sam much better. So I am excited. That's my opinion, but obviously other people have other opinions, and I'd be very much interested to know what other people's opinions are, Rob.
Yes, and you can give us said opinions by doing the following. You can contact us on Twitter and Instagram at Walford Weekly. You can find us on Facebook at Walford Weekly Podcast. On YouTube, don't forget to like, subscribe, click the bell to get notifications about our spoiler videos, and you can listen to us on Apple, Podbean, Spotify, or any of your favourite podcast sites. Please do feel free to email us at robwalfordweekly@gmail.com or alexwalfordweekly@gmail.com. I am now going to go and pass out somewhere. And to let this, because this hangover is a creeper, Alex. It felt bad. It felt bad when I woke up, and then I was all right after I had a shower. But now it's sort of tapping at my sinuses again. I'm dying slowly, so I'm going to go and kind of crawl up into a ball now.
I genuinely would love people to get in touch to see if they noticed, like me, and this isn't a slur on you, Rob, but at the top of the show, energy, 100%. Right now, I'm seeing a very pale comparison of that man. So let us know. Let us know what you if you enjoyed Rob on this almighty hangover.
I'm such a professional, aren't I? I'm such a professional. So until the same time next week, same place. It's goodbye from me,
and it's bye from me. Goodbye to you all.
Bye.